So generic is a term or concept. Generic is a term or concept which will allow us to make classes and methods, okay, with placeholders. Define, which will make sense. Define classes and methods with placeholders. So now generic is a general term. In general, generic in the sense in general. Okay. So what is the purpose of generic class? Okay. So when you compile it, a C# compiler replaces the placeholder with specific time during compilation. Okay. Today we are going to discuss about generics and C#. Generic is a term or a concept, okay, which will allow us to define classes and methods with placeholders. Okay. During compilation time, okay. During compilation time, C# compiler will replace the placeholders with specific type. Okay. So to define generic classes, or methods, will give angular brackets. We must use angle brackets. So these are all the angle brackets we use for generic. Okay. So what is generic? What is generic? Generic is a term or a concept in C#, okay, to define classes and methods. During compilation time, that placeholder will replace with a specific type. And we define generic with angle brackets. Generics and generic classes. Now, let's create one simple generic class. So how to create generic class? For example, we'll create a class. I will name it as a generic class. Any name you can give. And here, by default, usually we'll give T. And is T is the mandatory? No. Whatever you want, you can give. For example, you want to start with S. Yes, it will allow. Or if you want to start with U, it will allow. Okay. So by default, usually we'll give T for identification. Okay. Any symbol T, not only T, any symbol we can give. Okay. So this will call it as a generic class. Okay. Generic in the sense in general. Okay. Whatever type you want, it can take during compilation time. Okay. So now inside this class, I'll create a method. Instead of method, I'll create a constructor, public generic class. For example, here also I'll give T message. I have defined a constructor. Inside that, I pass one argument, T message, like that. And same thing, I'm going to print that console.writeLine message. So now, so here I'll take a main method, static void main. Okay. Now, how to define? What is this? A namespace cannot directly contain, sorry, outside the class. It should be, main method should be inside the class, right? Okay. So this is to pass the command line arguments, string array of arguments. Okay. Now, how to create object for this generic class? here during this time you will define string generic class equals new generic class of string. So here, since we have defined as a string id class, I'll pass this is a generic class and which will print generic, which will print string. So here, why I am passing here itself, because in constructor we are passing the message. So whatever message I want, I will give here in main method. So same thing, this is going to print. Okay. So now, since it is in compiler, so that it will print the message. So next, I'll create one more class. I'll create one more object with integer, with int. So here also it should be strongly typed. Okay, C# is a strongly typed language. You may get question why it is C# is a strongly typed language. Yes, it is strongly typed language. So what is the example? Okay, see here you are passing a integer, and when you instantiating during compilation time, no need to go for till runtime. There are some programming language you have to go till runtime, then only you will come to know. But here in C# during compilation time itself, it will throw the error. Okay, cannot convert from int to string. Okay, so here also you'll give integer. So now this doesn't allow. See guys, here itself. Okay, strongly typed language, again generic. Okay, it is expecting here you are having integer type, but here you are sending string. It doesn't allow you. Okay, now it will allow. So similarly like that, you take boolean here you will get error. True. Understood. Generic is a in general. Okay, you don't know what type you will get. Okay, so this is runtime. Okay, while implementation itself, suppose you are getting data from third party, other sources, you don't know which type you will receive. So whatever type you want, your class should handle anything. So that particular scenario will go for the generic. Okay, so for example, if you pass string also, it should work. If you pass integer also, it should work. If you pass boolean also, it should work. Okay, so that particular scenario will go for the generic. Okay, so now let me start this. Main method suitable for an entry point. There it is there. Okay. There will be below. Would you continue to run on the main method static void main suitable for an entry point. So let me stop this. Clean.
In main method, we don't need to pass like string args.
That is not mandatory.
Should we pass or not?
M capital only. That is not mandatory. That is optional.
Okay.
Do we have any other main method here? No, right? So entry point, it's not allow generic class. So since it is having this generic, that's why it's not allowing as a entry point. Okay. So now it will work. Okay. So because this is the entry point, so that by default generic means you need to pass this type as well, right? So that's why it's not allowing as a entry point of your program. So this will work now. So because generic is defined and it should be called somewhere. That is the reason here. Okay. So now let's start. So it will go and print the string here. Now it will go and print the integer. Now it will go and print the boolean. String, integer, boolean. Understood, guys? So this is called generic class. Generic in general. Okay. It's not a, we are not specifying any type. This is generic term. Okay. So we are not specifying any time. During runtime, we are passing whatever we want. So this is called generic. Generic is a term, okay, or a concept which will allow us to define classes and methods with placeholders. This is called placeholder. Angular brackets. Okay. During compilation time, okay, while during compiler itself, it will replace the placeholder with specific type. Replacing, right? This placeholder here we are replacing with string into boolean. Okay. So this is generic class. Any doubts here, guys? Concept is simple. Generic means general. No specific, not specific. Okay. The type you are going to define at the time of compilation time. Okay. So this is called generic class. Now let's see a generic method. Okay. How to create a generic method? Let's see now. So this is my, so if I remove, it's not a generic. Okay. So my class name, I'll give like a display. Okay. So inside this, here I'm going to create a message, sorry, method. Public void show. Here I'll take T. So this is generic method. And here T message. Now same thing I'm going to display here. Okay. Now I'll load a main method. So what is my class is display. Display equals to new display. Display dot show. And here see, it is an angular bracket. During compilation time only, it is showing it is generic method. So try to pass the type here. So what I want to pass? This is generic method and the type is string here. Okay. And if you want integer, we'll pass the integer. And if you want data, and if you want character, f float 10.25 m decimal. So what else other types? Boolean. Okay. So now let's start. String, integer, datetime, character, float, decimal, false. Understood, guys? Here we won't specify any type. During compilation time, it will pass the type here. It will check for the type. Okay. So based on that, during runtime, we'll get the output. Generic is a term which is used to define the classes and methods. Okay. So now in general, okay, generic is defined with the help of placeholder. Whether it is a class or method, it should be put inside your angular brackets. Not only t, any symbol you can give. Okay. And during compilation time, it will take the which type it want. Okay. So whatever type will pass during runtime, we'll get the type of output. Any doubts here, guys? This is about generic method.